What's up everybody? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today I want to give you my impressions on a very fun little indie RPG game. It's called Stolen Realm. This is a pseudo turn-based RPG that's combining elements of Divinity, Diablo, Darkest Dungeon, all into a procedurally generated world. It has a really addicting gameplay loop and glorious loot to gather, but does it have enough depth to keep you coming back for more? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about gameplay first, because that is, in fact, why we play video games. When you boot up Stolen Realm, you or a group of friends can take control of up to 6 playable characters, which are all fully customizable, that fall into a handful of your typical RPG classes. You have your thieves, warriors, rangers, wizards, and monks. And as you complete missions, you'll level up and you're free to assign skill points into any skill tree for any character, which means as you build your characters, you're not wedging them into one role indefinitely. You can start with a warrior and eventually teach them how to use chain lightning, which I think is really fun and lets the player play the game how they want to. When you first go into the game, you are treated to some weak semblance of a story, but it's really not the reason why you're going to be playing Stolen Realm. There's a slight hook talking about how the realm was stolen, and you're going to become more powerful, and you're going to save the world, which is all very typical. It does enough service to get you moving from point to point. Because the reality is, it's just loose enough to give you an excuse to keep grinding for gear and gold. As you go through the different acts and missions, you're going to get stronger and stronger, and as you complete all the levels in each act, you're actually able to go back and replay them for
more gear and
more gold and more experience.
The entire point is just to grind and keep playing the game to just have fun. If you're looking for an extra bit of challenge in Stolen Realm, you can also turn on hardcore mode, where it means if your party gets wiped, you lose those characters permanently and you cannot go back and use them more. I like that as an extra hook because I found that this game is not particularly difficult in the grand scheme of things, so it really lends itself an extra bit of a risk. Now, as you go through and you work through each mission, you're given branching paths into different procedurally generated battles, missions, and scenarios. A lot of the footage that you're seeing in this video right now is from a previous update where they would give you the entire map in front of you so you could chart your course ahead of time, sort of like FTL style. But now you only know the next few points that are available to you, which I think is a great change because it removes a lot of the predictability of the game. Now, as you move into these procedural locations, you can encounter things that give you buffs, debuffs, crafting items, piles of gold, or it'll just trigger fights. And that is really why you're here to play Stolen Realm.
is for the fights.
When a battle's triggered, you're moved into a pseudo turn-based hex grid environment. This means that every player character can move at the same time and not have to wait their turn. So, if you're playing with a group coordination, or lack thereof, can be very important to make sure that you're best utilizing your limited pool of action points. From there, gameplay is pretty simple. You can move a little bit, you can fight a little bit, and it's important to kind of balance that and make sure that you're putting your characters in the right position to be as effective as possible. Trigger specific abilities to do extra damage to your opponents, and then wait for a cooldown before you can use them again, all while juggling your HP and your mana pool to make sure that everything is going to work in cohesion. One of my favorite things about Stolen Realm is this hilarious zero-gravity ragdoll effect that happens whenever you kill an enemy. You'll hit them super hard and they'll just slowly start drifting across the map. Then, once you're done with the fight, that gameplay loop continues. You move through the map, choose the next location to go to, collect your buffs, your debuffs, your gold, all the way till you get to the end of the stage and you have your big boss fight. Win that, go back to the hub world town, sell your extra gear, rearm, skill up, and then get back out there for more delicious murder. Weird, why did I say delicious murder? Murder's not delicious. So, generally and overall, what do I like about Stolen Realm? One of the things that I like, especially as I'm getting older and I'm starting to have less time to play games, is that Stolen Realm is a super quick and fun to play. You can sit down, play for 10 or 15 minutes, get through a whole stage, move on with your day. Or you can also very easily sink hours and hours in one sitting into this because it is just such an easy feedback loop to get stuck in. It's easy to drop in and out, get a quick hit of gameplay, move on with your day. It doesn't require a ton of thought. At least I haven't found that I've needed to be particularly strategic when I've been playing. I'm able to just drop in, do a fight, maybe be a little challenged, but not be breaking my brain. Super replayable. Honestly, a very relaxing, good vibes game. The music is awesome, even if the battle music is also repetitive. I'll find myself washing dishes and still hearing the same sounds playing through in my head. And I also like the procedural generation. While I've encountered, lots of duplicates of the same scenarios, they are starting to add more as this game goes through early access. And the procedural generation keeps it just fresh enough that you're not always doing the exact same thing over and over again. But this wouldn't be a review and first impressions if I didn't also have some gripes with the game. And let's talk about that. First off, there is, I find, to be a lack of overall strategy. Now, while I did say that this was a plus for me, this could be a minus for other people. When I was first starting the game, I thought there would be a lot more reasons to use the environmental interactions, throwing barrels around, working on debuffing enemies, kind of like how you would do in the Divinity games. You know, you're trying to force the AI to do certain things. As I've played about 15 hours of Stolen Realms so far, I'm not really seeing that there is much strategy other than, one, do a lot of damage to as many people as you can in one go, and primarily try to reduce the movement of the larger, stronger enemies. You can cripple or slow them down and just keep them from moving towards you on the map. That's really all you need to do. I don't know if this is going to change or expand as the game continues development, but for me, my basic strategy has become cripple the biggest enemy that I can find, get rid of the little mobs, and then focus all my efforts on the big one. And that hasn't really changed as far as I've been playing. And I guess even for myself, while I do mention it as a pro for the game, the lack of strategy, I think, will harm the longevity that I will find with this. Because eventually I'll be like, you know, maybe I do want to think a little bit and try more. So I'm hoping that there will be more strategic layers implemented over time, because otherwise I think it is really going to limit the fun and longevity for Stolen Realm. Now, this next gripe is a little weird because I'm not much of a mobile gamer, but the way that this game looks, feels, and plays, I truly think that it needs to be in the Google Play and Apple App Store. I would love to have some sort of cross-play compatibility where I could bring my characters from Steam onto my phone, play this game on the go while I'm commuting to my day job on the bus, and then port them back in onto my PC when I'm at home. It has the perfect bones for a mobile game. Is it so much a con as a suggestion? I don't know, but I really would love to be able to play this on my phone. Just a thought. Next, crafting system. This game does have a crafting system, and I'll be honest, I don't really understand it, and frankly, I don't really care to, because I am getting a little over games having kind of unnecessary crafting systems put into them to add extra depth. When for me, it's just adds clutter, and if it's not performing a specific need or use case for me in the gameplay, then I just wish that it wasn't there. Let's just trim the fat out, because it makes me think that I need to collect and hoard items when I'm not engaging with the systems at all. Again, maybe this is a personal gripe and I just need to get over it. I would just prefer sometimes the crafting systems weren't, if it doesn't fit the game. Hot take of the day. And also, and this is weird for me too, because I'm a bit of a casual Andy when it comes to playing games, but let's make the hardcore mode more punishing. Right now on hardcore, you only lose your characters if you get a total party kill. If everyone gets wiped out, you lose those characters permanently. I feel like if you lose a character in battle and you're playing hardcore, you shouldn't be able to get them back, instead of them just reviving at the end of the fight if you have at least one person left standing. Make it a little bit more punishing and have to churn through characters until you finally get one that sticks and starts doing really well. I feel like it would add more challenge, it would add more connection to these characters that you're making, and I would like it more. Maybe add an Iron Man mode. It's a thought. Okay, now I need a sip of coffee out of my Spider-Man mug because I'm talking a lot. All right, next, and this is coming specifically from my point of view as a content creator. I make YouTube videos when I can, and I also stream on Twitch 2 days a week at a minimum. Tuesdays and Thursdays, you will find me live on twitch.tv/spookydeer. You know, the link is where the link should be. Anyways, I always try to talk about how a game fits for content creation and streamability when I do one of these reviews and impressions, because it's an important lens, at least for me, with how I choose to engage with games, because again, as I get older, most of the time that I have to play video games is during my streams. So I want to make sure that it's a good use of time for myself, my community, and that it's enjoyable to watch. I'm a variety streamer on Twitch. I play a lot of different games, so this has been great to have in the rotation. But on the same hand, kind of like the rest of this review, Stolen Realm is a bit of a mixed bag for me. On one hand, I spend a lot of time interacting with my chat on Twitch. Talking to chat is my first priority, and Stolen Realm is great because it's not super intrusive. The action is already paused because it's a turn-based game, so if I need to stop and talk and we have a conversation about something, the game's just not going to keep playing without me. I enjoy that. But I also worry that it's a little too repetitive, and being a turn-based game might be a little too static for me to make good content with. I enjoy games that offer kind of a dynamic push, something interesting, random, or wacky that can happen. It becomes a really clippable moment and can turn into content elsewhere. I've had a few instances of that with Stolen Realm, you know, where something breaks or bugs out. But other than that, it's just kind of been a game to vibe with. This isn't a bad thing. It actually kind of, it fits this sort of like cozy aspect. But on the same hand, for me, it hasn't developed into more content, and I worry about the longevity of it and it growing stale if I were to keep streaming it regularly. I think one of the best things that you can do is use this as a good excuse to collaborate with other content creators. Every Tuesday, I do a co-stream with one of my oldest friends, Rusty Echoford, and we were playing this game together, and I think that that added a lot to it. I feel like I would struggle streaming Stolen Realm on my own, but playing with someone else, or maybe even bringing a group of people in, you can have up to 6 people playing co-op with you in this game. That could be a really fun way to collaborate, and things would suddenly start to get more chaotic, and there'd be more back and forth. And that could be a really interesting watch, but I think playing it on your own, unless you're really just looking to have a nice chill stream, or if you're a creator like me, I don't know how long it'll hold water. But all that being said, it's still a great game. So let's talk about that. What are my final thoughts on Stolen Realm? Is it worth your money? Is it worth playing? Is it worth buying? And frankly, I would say it absolutely is. Stolen Realm scratched an itch I didn't know I had. It kind of blends a lot of aspects of different games that I like into an easy, digestible package. Whatever, you know what I mean. The game is like comfort food. It's not super challenging. It fits a lot of the taste and aesthetic that I have, and it gives me something that I want to get lost into. It's so easy to just pick up and play.
Even during work.
And the multiplayer is slick and enjoyable, and I just think that the more people you add to it, the more chaotic and hilarious it would get. So again, here's the TLDR of the whole thing. Stolen Realm is not a complex game. It is not trying to be everything for everyone, but on the same hand, it is incredibly enjoyable and well polished. It looks and sounds great, and it's just going to continue to develop and grow. I think I paid $12 for it when it was on sale, and I can personally say that it is worth that money and more. Just don't expect anything to be earth-shattering or revolutionary. Anyways, that was a whirlwind of a video. I'm trying to do these more often. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you found everything helpful. If you did, if you've played Stolen Realm, or if you have other games that you'd like for me to check out on this channel, please leave a comment below, or even just like the video. It makes me feel really happy. So, thanks for being there. Be good, be careful, and I will see you in the next one.